This is Star Wars Hunters. We're here on the Nintendo Switch. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this is the latest generic hero shooter to hit the market. It is a free-to-play game that takes a bunch of, I guess, bounty hunters and/or, oh, remember this nostalgic bit from Star Wars, and shoved it into a really generic hero shooter character. So yeah, this is kind of fascinating. I don't know. I was kind of looking forward to having a new Star Wars game, especially a Star Wars shooter. You know, honestly, something I think we've been really lacking in for quite a bit here. And the results here are pretty soulless. It's a little disheartening playing this game, I gotta tell you, to some degree. Just because I don't know, it's just painfully average. Like, it feels like you could literally slap any sort of franchise over top of this, and it would be like the same kind of game. I don't know how to describe it. So the game starts you off by basically forcing you through this incredibly lengthy bot tutorial, which I don't even think I'm finished yet, because I'm still playing against bots, unless there's no real players at all. I don't know, I'm well over 10 matches into this game, and it's just insanely mundanely boring, and I think it's just because of the forced bots. I'm so tired of this. It's just a mobile game targeting, like, you know, mobile markets, and then it's just like, oh, we'll throw it on the Switch too, and the results here are just, I don't know. I think this is terrible. So what are we getting here? 1080p. It's attempting 30 FPS. I have noticed some frame drops in some levels and some scenarios, but I don't know. It's just like, I don't know if I've just come to expect nothing from Star Wars in the modern era at all, like literally like the lowest of low expectations for the Star Wars franchise, but I don't know. This, like, okay, so it's colorful, it's cutesy, they've all got like quirks and vibes, and they all do different things. It's like, remember Wookiees? We got a Wookiee guy. Did you like Droidekas? Well, there's a guy that rides a Droideka. Bounty hunters? We got generic bounty hunters. It's just like a bunch of characters that are like adjacent to characters you would expect from Star Wars, and they're just sort of thrown in here in a quirky way, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if it's just the fact that they, like, threw me through this, like, never-ending bot tutorial or what, because they think I'm just dumb, but I just really just not vibing with this game. I think to some degree, if you like, you know, kind of basic, easygoing shooter slop, this hits the mark. But there's nothing really special or unique about this, nothing that really screams Star Wars other than, like, the paint aesthetic of it being Star Wars. You get a few different game modes. There's, like, deathmatch, and this is, like, the domination game mode, and, you know, your characters, they have different abilities and different ultra abilities that charge over the course of a match, and you shoot, and you just kind of play, and it's just, again, it's just really, really boring. Like, I'm just not into this at all. So, following the end of the Galactic Civil War, the bright lights of the arena burst into life. So it's kind of like, I guess, to a degree, the idea here is that it's a gladiator type game. You know, you're fighting to the death for the enjoyment of the crowd, and you're slowly unlocking, like, new characters and leveling your characters, and there's tons of, like, stuff that pops up on your screen, and there's all these, like, hey, buy the battle pass, here, buy this pass, here, buy this skin thing. I do think if you have kids playing this game, I would recommend kind of being a little careful, because at one point, I think a couple times actually, it sort of like pushed me onto the Nintendo store to buy something. Even, like, it didn't really even give me an option to, like, leave. It was like, hey, check out this cosmetic, and I was like looking for like a back out button, but I didn't really have the option. So I went to the store and then came back, and then it's like, your transaction failed, and I was like, okay, and then I backed out. And it's just like, yeah, it just kind of feels a little, I don't know, I want to say it feels a little scummy to some degree, and ah, I don't know. There's lots of cosmetics, there's lots of stuff. There's a battle pass, of course. There's, I think they call it the arena pass, and you can get all these different character buys, or you can slowly grind to get characters, and it takes forever, and it's just, I don't know. Like, there's some personalization, there's some customization. The maps are relatively reminiscent of like levels of Star Wars stuff, and I don't know. A lot of the characters is like, oh, it's like your Han Solo, or oh, it's like your generic stormtrooper, and I I don't know what to tell you. And there's like different classes, but like it doesn't really matter what any of your classes are because nobody's really team playing in that way because it's just a quick shooter where the matches only last like a couple minutes and then you're on to the next thing. And yeah, like honestly, like aside from this being like, oh, there's stormtroopers and stuff, like you could literally, as I said, put anything on this and just it would be the exact same game. I don't know if it's also because I've played so many like just generic hero shooters over the years and I see so many more of them coming that I'm just like a little underwhelmed, but yeah, this is like the generic of a generic video game shooter. And I feel like I'm being really harsh on this. I'm sure some people will be like, oh, it's lots of fun. And I feel like those people are just like sitting there fighting bots over and over again and being like, I feel like I'm doing good. And it's, it's just sad that this game is like this. I don't know. It's just sort of like, again, it feels like just another generic combination of quirky characters coming together to shoot each other and stuff. And I'm sure if this is semi-successful, they'll probably do background story cinematic things for everybody. And I don't know. It's like for the universe of Star Wars, with all the cool things you can do, it feels like, wow, this is what they kind of came up with. At one point when I was like first looking at this, I was like, oh cool, it's like an actual like shooter, it's an arena shooter. I was kind of assuming it was going to be like a turn-based kind of thing or something. So I was like, oh, this is really neat. This is going to be a huge like improvement for things. And then I'm playing this and I'm just like, okay, I kind of get what they're going for. Cool. And I do a few bot matches and I'm like, okay, this is really mundane and boring. I'm tired of this. I get to several matches, I'm like, wow, am I ever going to play real players? And then you get to 10 plus matches and you're just like, wow, is this just bots? Like do I actually get to compete against anybody? Or like, is the whole point of this just to make me feel good as you like push me to buy and spend my money on things? Like, it's a free-to-play game, they gotta make money, I get that. But there's something about games like this where it's literally like, I don't know, when I think of console-type gaming stuff, I think I have slightly higher standards than if I'm playing something on a phone. You know what I mean? And this feels like it's indistinguishable from just like phone slop. And I know it's a Zynga game, and I know I should keep my expectations really quite low, but I mean, it's Star Wars, right? Like, Star Wars. Why is Star Wars not fun anymore? I've been killing for new Star Wars games. And then I'm looking at this and I'm just like, wow. I don't know. It's like, I wish there was like maybe more personality to the characters too. I feel like there's just every video game that's like a free-to-play kind of hero shooter like this. There's just this like checklist of quirks that they have to fill every single time. And that's just leading to somehow the goals that are supposed to make the games feel more distinct make them feel more generic and samey. And that's just what I'm getting here, is just like, just doing the same thing over and over and over again here. I don't know, there's an okay selection of maps. Part 3 of Welcome to the Arena, great, that's so cool. Yeah, I don't care about all this stuff you keep giving me. Like, there's a good selection of levels, it's like you get some different planets, they all look Star Wars reminiscent. The characters have, like, Star Wars weapons, and they're from different Star Wars, I want to say factions, but it's more like they just kind of picked a bunch of random characters that I think they're trying to pass as bounty hunters, and then you're just shooting each other. This is, like, it's honestly one of the more forgettable games I think I've played. Like, there's something about it where I'm just kind of like, I'm just gonna play this, do my video, and just be done with it. It's just so mundane to me. And I want to be excited about Star Wars games because in my youth, you know, like the 2000s and stuff, we got so many Star Wars games. Late 90s too. And then there's a certain point where they stopped. And then now we're just dealing with whatever this is. And like for a Switch game, it's not too bad looking, you know, like it's a little jaggedy around the edges and stuff on a TV, and there's some performance drop stuff, but like, you know, it's not bad for a Switch game. It really isn't. I could see why they didn't put it on other consoles though. I don't think this would have really kind of flied on those other platforms. I don't know. I think some companies, they can kind of get away with this type of Switch stuff a little bit more than other companies can, and it's just yeah, I don't know about this. Like I think some people could actually have a lot of fun here, but just like keep in mind, if you are getting like a false sense of enjoyment out of it, initially it's like you're literally just playing bots. They're not real players, and the game is gonna to some degree, or well, it's gonna drastically change when you're actually playing against people. It'll be like a whole different ball game. It's just like the journey to get to that point, like kind of, it's like a never-ending tutorial. Honestly, is kind of what it feels like. It's just a never-ending bot tutorial in the weirdest of ways. And it's like, I guess I could be going harder and, you know, KD and everything like that, but it's also just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's just like, it's weird to me. There's something about it that I'm just like really thrown off by, and it just doesn't feel quite right. And I don't like it. I really genuinely don't like I don't hate this to any degree, but it's just, to me, it's really just like, oh, generic hero shooter of the week. And I don't know, maybe some people get a lot more enjoyment out of this type of game than I do, but for like the Star Wars IP, and as iconic and as valuable as it is, with like the limitless things you can do with it, it feels both safe, boring, and also just, like, disappointing and mundane at the same time. I don't know, like, the levels themselves, too, there's, like, good detail in here and that, but they're just these tight little maps, and yeah, it's just a hero shooter thrown on the console, and I don't blame them for doing that. Like, honestly, it makes sense, I get it. I can't believe this took them so long, considering, you know, how long ago this game was first sort of revealed and whatnot, but I guess it's interesting to finally take a look at it. There's also usually music playing, but we always turn off Star Wars-like music. I should also mention there's gyro control options in the settings if you want to do that kind of stuff. Global gyro aiming and that options. So that is something that you can interact with. I'm dying a lot here. Well, at least they don't hide your deaths. That's good. That's something. I don't know. It's just like this weird balance too of characters, and it's just like the most, like, the strangest random mix of things. This game is kind of my descriptor for it. Is just like I don't really get what the specialization is for this game, because I was sitting there kind of being like, oh, you know, it's a Star Wars game. It's new, I should probably stream it and stuff, but I'm sitting here being like, I literally can't handle playing any more of this. I just want to be done with it. And it's not, again, it's not, like, terrible. Like, I make it sound so bad, I'm pretty sure, but I just really want to get across that it is, like, genericness of genericness, the video game. The online hero shooter game. And that's okay for some people. That's totally fine. You know, like, I think you can appreciate that they were able to acquire access to the Star Wars IP to make this. You know, or Disney had it to them, or they pitched for it, or something like that. I just really want more from Star Wars. At some point, again. Consistently. I'd like to see a Star Wars vibe that's exciting again, and not, you know, truly just disappointing and mundane. Because it's just like, it feels like a lot of this is like kind of playing it safe and stuff too, and the safest kind of way. And I'm like, I guess if you clean this up on a you know, like a mobile platform that had like more power to it, I guess you could get it running like a little. I don't know if a higher like level of fluidity would really, or resolution quality would really do much for it, but fluidity wise and stuff, I think would make a big difference. But again, for the Switch, not a bad offering, I think. Uh-oh. Oh, we lost. Well, it was close. I probably died too much. But you do get to personalize stuff. There's guns, or weapon skins, I guess, because there's more than guns. There's, like, bladed type things. And then you can have character skins, and you get to do the fast PvP. Yeah, you just kind of shoot stuff. It splashes your screen with unlocks and things, and then it kind of pushes these, like, buy packs on you all the time, and yeah, at least it's fast for matches, but I guess when you're just going up against bots, it makes sense. I think the potential here for them to do a lot of like updates and things live servicey wise is pretty high. You know, you could do unlimited maps, you can do character tie-ins, you can, you know, you can sell people stuff all the time and that. So that's kind of exciting. Why is he so tall, the Stormtrooper, versus everyone else? It's kind of weird, isn't it? It's just a little weird. And again, this whole game's weird. Gaming in the modern era is strange. I'm just dealing with it one step at an insane time. Yeah, that's how I feel. Oh, and there's like, I guess, cross-progressional stuff too. You have to sign up with an account beforehand, and then you're able to, you know, pick this up across different platforms. You want to play this on mobile? I mean, I'd be interested in checking this out on another console someday. Maybe I'll appreciate it more too down the road. I don't know. It would have been nice to have access to more characters, or like a rotating selection of characters or something. You know what I mean? Would have been kind of nice. And it's actually like a fair bit. I think it was like, I kind of worked it out to about 10 Canadian, roughly, to unlock a new character. Instead of doing the progressional thing. Like, I don't think you necessarily have to spend any money playing this. But there are plenty of opportunities for you to spend lots of money playing this. But yeah, I really just... like, it looks like something I'm supposed to love. but I just really genuinely don't. I don't know if it's an issue. No, it's definitely not a problem with gaming in general. There's lots of fun games I've been playing recently. It's this type of game thing. You gotta be a little more different if you're doing a hero shooter thing, I think. You know? You gotta have more personality or style to it. 'Cause even the characters and stuff feel boring. It's like hero adjacent characters that we're familiar with from the franchise thrown in this thing. It's just bizarre. Like, I'm weirded out by this whole thing. I'm kind of looking forward to just being done with it. It was funny too, though, because like I said, there was literally a point where I was sitting there being like, I can't handle or stomach any more of playing this. I'm just gonna do my video so I can be done with it. I don't think that's like a very good selling point for a game, being like, I just wanted to move through it as fast as humanly possible. I actually shouldn't have even stuck with it as much as I did for like bot matches. I was dying. I was like, I can't do this. I was like, who wants to play against bots like this? It's no fun. But I think some of these, maybe these are real players. I don't even know where to care anymore. All I know is the Empire ones. Somehow, Palpatine returned today to give us one little more collection of disappointment. Well, guess I'll just have to keep waiting for the next Star Wars game to maybe hit the mark again. I don't know. At least the games seem to have a little bit more quality consistency for me than other Star Wars properties these days, I guess. Hey, look, our team. We're looking tough. We're looking strong. I think that about covers the whole experience, though, right? You know, you got an idea of the visuals, the way it runs, some of the characters, the battle, the style, the modes, the chaos, the boringness of waiting to get ready. Star Wars Hunters.